Hey, what's up everyone? Silver Slayer, welcome back for another video. So today we're doing the first episode of Coin Compare that you guys voted on the content you wanted to see, which is gold versus silver. Well, I'm gonna add a little twist to it and talk about why silver, not gold. That seems to be the biggest question, especially for people coming into the precious metal world, or the people that are looking from the outside. You know, we look at gold as royalty, gold as king, it's the almighty superior metal, but you see a lot more of silver enthusiasts, and people wonder, why is there such a big silver community compared to gold? And the first thing you would come to mind is, well, I guess silver is cheaper and you can stack more of it, and it looks more just like people who have a whole bunch of $1 bills to make them feel rich. That's actually the exact opposite. A lot of people invest in gold for that exact reasons, where you can hold a much larger or much more substantial amount of wealth in a smaller area or compact. And if you got to think about this, $1,000 worth of gold, that can be in one little coin, where $1,000 worth of silver, you're gonna have a box, and it doesn't have to be very big, but when you start accumulating hundreds of ounces of silver, storage is a serious thing to think about, especially when you're trying to discreetly store your stuff without, it blatantly being known. So it's not really about that, and I'm going to talk about why people love silver so much. Now, the beauty is one part of it, just the sleek shine it has. But there's a whole other side to it, not just for jewelry, not just for the fashion sense, not even just for the technology sense, how it's used for cell phone, for dental alloys, for computer equipment, for mirrors, for hundreds and hundreds of uses, not only for the industrial uses, but also as a form of money. All pre-1965 coinage was there was silver in it. The half dollars. There's the Walking Liberties. There's the Franklins. You have the Mercury dimes. There's several coinage in American history that had silver in it. But there's also this 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 knowledge that us silver stackers realize about the intrinsic value that silver has. The intrinsic value. Silver is a lot more undervalued than gold is, and this is the real reason why we are taking advantage of silver. The gold to silver ratio back in the day used to be around 12 to 1. It comes out of the ground roughly 9 to 1. But we see over time it was around 30 to 1. And when I talk about the gold to silver ratio, that means how many ounces of silver does it take to achieve 1 ounce of gold. So if gold is $1,000 an ounce and silver is $10 an ounce, that means it takes 100 ounces of silver to purchase or to trade for 1 ounce of gold. Well, back, 50, 60 years ago, it's around 30 to 1, then we see it 60. But right now, the gold to silver ratio is extremely high. It ranges from around 65 to 80 to 1. And that is extremely high when it comes out of the ground, 9 to 1, especially how silver is the most highly conductive metal to electricity and thermal, and how many uses it has, especially for the technological age that we're advancing, where we need more and more of it, and a lot of it's not being recovered. A lot of this silver gets lost in scrap technology. When cell phones are thrown away, we can't recover all of this silver. So it's getting lost. A lot of it's getting lost more than it's even coming out of the ground. So this is something where you look at supply versus demand. Supply versus demand, not only for jewelry, technology, industrial uses, for money, for trade. It's been used for trade for thousands of years. The beauty of it for the coinage, you see these pandas right in front of you, the kookaburras, you know. Those are the 2017 pandas. That's a 2017 kookaburra. We have some Perth mints in there. But this is this has a whole other factor to it than gold. That's a 2017 Maple Leaf Rooster Privy. But this has a whole different factor than gold, where gold is more it's more for the jewelry. A lot more gold is being recovered because gold is usually meant for just jewelry. I mean, there is gold in cell phones that does get lost as well. But you know, if you have gold, it's such a royal metal that people make sure that if they have a gold necklace, or you know, people even scrap a lot of gold out of the technology, that so a lot of it does get recovered out of that. But it gets a lot more of it gets melted down and re-scrapped into other coins or whatever the case is. Where silver, it's more plentiful to the degree where a lot of it does get lost. And like you see those coins right there, this is stuff where you couldn't have this in a gold setting. I mean, it would be too much money. You wouldn't be able to accumulate this at all. I mean, if you did, you'd have a very large amount of wealth. It would take a lot of time, and that's another thing. A lot of people that are investors, they look at there's two types of investors. There's the stack and hold stacker, and then there's the stack and flip stacker, where people will invest just for the quick flip, you know, get your bang for the buck. And then there's, like, for that area, like, you know, who could accumulate that roughly in about a year, or, you know, a couple months. But then there's the people who are the stack and hold stackers, where they're not in this just to make a quick flip, but they're buying it for for more of um for more of the for it, like a a wealth preservation, to preserve their money. See, they're not in it just to make a quick dollar. They're in it because they see the dollar is losing its purchasing power, so they're storing their wealth into silver or into precious metals, because precious metals aren't really affected by hyperinflation. The dollar is losing its purchasing power every single day, where that 1 ounce of silver right there, you see that 1 ounce, that panda right there, always is going to have 1 ounce of silver in it. So we're preserving our wealth almost like in a time capsule. Because if I would have had that 1 ounce panda back 50 years ago, it would still have an ounce of silver in it, which is still just as valuable. Not talking about spot price, but the actual metal itself. See, that's the difference between precious metals that have intrinsic value compared to our dollar. But when we're looking at gold, gold is, it can go along the same factors, but it's not, it doesn't have the same potential that silver does, because of the way that silver is used in in the world nowadays. I think silver is a lot more undervalued than gold is. I think silver should be around $200 an ounce, and gold should be around 1,000. It will, okay, let's say it like this. If gold is, let's say gold is the set price. If gold is $1,200 an ounce, then I think silver should be around $200 to $300 an ounce, not $25 an ounce when gold is 1,200. That's the difference. I think the gold to silver ratio should be way lowered. And there also is ways to manipulate the gold to silver ratio and earn free silver. I've made a video on this. That's the Queen's Beast dragon, the red dragon of Wales. That's in my collection. But if you're looking at the gold to silver ratio, you can, let's say gold is $1,000 an ounce and silver is $10 an ounce, and then gold jumps up to $1,200 an ounce. You can sell the gold and get 120 ounces of silver, and then if the gold to silver ratio goes back down, then you can sell the 20 ounces of silver off and keep your 100 ounces. So not only do you still have your 100 ounces of silver, you just earned an extra 20 ounces just by by trading the gold, your silver to gold or gold to silver as the price fluctuates. It's kind of hard to explain, or if it, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain like really quickly in a video on spot, but you basically take the price fluctuation between the two metals and you learn when to. It's almost like trading in cryptocurrency or trading the stock markets. You know, you trade the one that's higher to the ones lower, so you can grab more, and then when the price fluctuate back, you sell it back to basically earn free ounces of silver or free ounces of gold. And I've done this before. I've used the gold to silver ratio to my advantage to earn free silver, and a lot of people do this. And nowadays, it's probably a lot easier because the prices are fluctuating a little more than they were a couple of years ago, when I really talked about it. But you know, it is definitely something that people do. Definitely, people use the gold to silver ratio to their advantage. If I was gonna do that, I would use more bullion coins, you know, generic rounds and stuff like that. I would not use high premium silver like this, like the coins you see in front of you, because these coins have a premium on top of them. So to sell them, you would be selling them at spot price and losing that $4 to $7 premium that I paid on top of it. So that's something that I definitely would not do. I would use American Eagles, maybe even generic rounds. I really wouldn't. I mean, you probably could use constitutional silver, but I wouldn't, just because, as you guys have known in the past, I've talked about the many benefits of junk silver. I don't like calling it junk silver. I like calling it constitutional silver because they don't make it anymore. You know, you don't have to store it. You know, it's very limited supply. It's beautiful. It's American history. You know, it's a way to store fractional silver. It's just there's so many. There's key dates. I mean, it's so cool. So I wouldn't do it with Constitution. I'll do it with generic rounds. But anyways, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I kind of I didn't really have a structure when I went into this video. I hope I covered everything of why people invest into silver, not gold. These are my reasons. There's more reasons, you know, when it comes to to the coinage part of it. But you know, you can store fractional gold as well. I mean, it's just, for me, I think silver, the main reason for me is silver is a more undervalued metal than gold. There's more potential for silver to earn me profits down the line than gold. And that's basically why. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. This was Silver Slayer, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.